Welcome to the BuildHERS Club podcast. We're here to bring you real conversations and fresh insights from a woman's perspective in the construction industry.
Each episode will sit down with incredible guests, female builders, designers, business owners, and industry leaders to talk about the challenges, successes, and experiences that shape our careers.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out or simply curious about the industry, this is your space to learn, be inspired, and connect with a community of strong, trailblazing women. Welcome back to the BuildHERS podcast, where we show real stories of women building careers, businesses, and lives in the construction industry, often through seasons no one talks about.
Today's episode is centered around the idea of the luck factor, creating your own opportunities. We're expecting what luck really looks like when life feels uncertain, heavy, or completely out of your control.
We're honored to be joined by Alexandra McMyler, founder of Archer Specialties, who built her business while navigating one of the most difficult personal transitions a person can experience. This conversation isn't about perfection or overnight success. It's about quiet strength, small steps forward, and choosing to keep going when the path isn't clear.
If you're listening and feeling like you're in the middle of your own storm, this episode is for you. It's a reminder that even in the hardest seasons, it's possible to create opportunity and that there can be light ahead. So, Teresa, why don't you introduce our guest?
I shall. Alexandra McMyler. So she's originally from Refugio?
Refugio.
Refugio.
That's how the locals say it's refugio. But
Oh, say it again.
refugio.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the locals
not-
say refugio.
Okay, Refugio, Texas. Where is that?
It's down south near Corpus Christi.
Okay.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
You said it very,
Yeah, seriously, that was great.
yeah. I thought it was like in another country. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
It's very exotic.
Yeah.
Okay, so she relocated to North Texas, which is much easier to say, and began her construction career as a general contractor, or with a general contractor. In 2022, she founded Archer Specialties, a commercial subcontractor specializing in the supply and installation of Division 10 products across a wide range of product types. As CEO of Archer, Alexandra has embraced the opportunity to learn every facet of the construction process, from estimating and project execution to her favorite moment, the ribbon cutting. A lifelong sports fan and former Texas A&M rugby player, there is no way you played rugby. You're teeny tiny.
Yeah, but I'm mean.
You're scrappy.
I'm scrappy. That's a much better word for it.
She is especially proud to contribute to the sports facilities Archer has helped build. Outside of work, Alexandra enjoys spending time with her two children, who are convinced her real job is the title Queen Latrine.
Oh, that's
Love
awesome.
that. Love that. Okay, so tell us kind of like the backstory of how you got into construction and kind of where you came from, and we'll start there.
Okay. I just kind of lucked into the industry. It wasn't something I set out to do and be a part of. I certainly would have been too overwhelmed to jump into something like construction with no prior experience. It was in the middle of COVID. I'd been a stay-at-home mom for 7 or 8 years, and just decided, like, I've got this whole college degree. We don't all need to be here. Like, let me go find a job. I interviewed with a company that needed a superstar accountant, good at Excel. And I, halfway through the call, I'm like, listen, I'm not your girl. This is never going to be me. And she said, well, my husband owns a construction company and he needs an admin. Would you want to try that? And I was like, yeah, why not? Let's try that. And fell in love with the industry. It really attracts some of the best people, a few of the worst, but mostly just the best.
Right. Real people.
Real people.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed getting to be a part of the process, and you see physically something is built, and at the end of it, there's something you can drive past and say, oh, that was, I had a part of that.
Yes.
And I lucked into being with a company that they were willing to give me a chance to learn every part of it. It was, you're do admin stuff, but also, hey, could you do the billing and figure out the sales tax? And at some point it was, you want to help out estimating. So I learned how to read plans. And that was kind of the genesis of Archer. When working for that GC, I kept seeing there was this one trade we could never get bids on. Like, there was just like not enough service for the GCs to even hire. And it was like, I could do that. Like, we're not talking electrical engineering. It's grab bars,
Right.
Yeah.
And so that whole first year, we started Archer. It started out as like somebody should do that. When my personal stuff was going on, and it was like, hey, maybe this is really something I could do. So that whole first year, I was the estimator and the project manager, and I even did some of the installs.
Wow.
Thank God we moved on from that business model.
Right.
But it's such a wonderful industry because the only thing holding you back is just the do so.
Right.
You know?
Right. And it isn't always, everybody says, oh, well, you're just so lucky. You're so lucky. We create our own luck. We really, truly do.
I really spent a lot of time thinking about it. When we were talking about this concept of luck, and, my first instinct is to be like, oh, this is all hard work. I do think I am incredibly lucky, but I think it's because I view where I'm at through that lens.
Right.
I think luck is like the visible spectrum of hard work.
Yes.
Like everybody sees the luck at the end.
Yes.
But it's
they didn't see the grunt and grind that happened before.
Right. Yep. Right. And, to me, it's all in how you look at it. I've been through hell the last couple of years, but now on this side of it, I'm like, thank God, thank goodness, because otherwise I never would have had the push to jump. So I consider myself really lucky that I went through this, I went through that. I had just enough experience, just enough, not knowing better.
Right. Right.
There was, I didn't know enough to stop.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes that is a good thing.
It is.
That is a really good thing. Mm-hmm. So, you and I talked before. So Archer started kind of when you were already working. We were doing all the groundwork already and saw the need. So you saw a need in the market and you're like, I can do that. Mm-hmm. So tell us how it kind of graduated.
Yeah, it started off with a conversation between who became my business partner, where it was just like, somebody should really do that. And we both laughed because there wasn't ever like okay, let's jump. It was like, oh, somebody should really do that. And the next time we got together, it was like, well, so I went ahead and got us an LLC. And then the next time it's like, I went ahead and got us a credit card. And it was just like, I kind of woke up one day and I was like, oh, this is something I'm doing.
Right.
And then it was like taking more and more of my time. It was very much a side hustle for a long time, which I think a lot of people can identify with. There's a lot of people have side hustles.
Right.
And just kind of waiting for it to take off and waiting for it to be, it's making enough money now that I can confidently, peacefully make this transition.
Right.
And I don't think that really ever happens for anyone.
No.
It sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds great. It's a great plan.
Yeah. You either jump or because that jump propels you. You have no other choice then, right?
Right. And that's why I'm like, I think I was lucky to be put in a position where I literally had no other choice. I was, looking at my future I reached a point where I had to get a divorce. And it was certainly not part of the plan. It did not fit well into my plans for things. And I was envisioning my future, and it's like I could be making $14 an hour as an admin for the rest of my life and live in a shitty apartment with no furniture, see my kids half the time, and never take them on a vacation. And it was like, that's not a future I'm excited about.
Right. Right.
But I could jump in on this business and maybe it fails, but there's a chance that it could be great. Like, what if this goes great?
Exactly.
And that's been a lot of fun. And it was, incredible how once you jump in with both feet, like, oh, all of a sudden, now that I'm giving this all of my energy, things are going better. It's growing twice as fast. And we've got 6 employees, and now we have a warehouse. And
I saw that, a big warehouse. Yeah.
It was a big warehouse. Sounds full of stuff.
Yeah.
So were you going through your divorce when you started at?
No. So we started, got the LLC started, and, I spent a year doing both jobs.
Okay.
I was working for the GC, doing business development for a general contractor, and running this subcontract on the side, which was doable because we only had one project a month. And, it was a little bitty.
And they knew it, right?
They were
they
so
knew it.
Excited
that you
totally,
were doing it.
Right.
Because
right. I mean,
now they had
I started as a service provider to them. And it was wonderful for me to be able to learn in that environment because I could literally take a set of plans and walk down the hall to the project manager and be like, all right, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Are our accounts the same? I could walk down to the accountant's office and be like, all right, so which lien waiver is it that I send you right now?
Oh, so you could learn while you were there.
I was learning while I was there, and it made me, stronger knowledge in terms of the industry. But it also allowed me to kind of build Archer from a customer service point of view.
Oh.
It was really important to me to be a partner to general contractors. Like, I don't want to just be a service provider.
Right.
Yeah, we show up, we check the box, and like we're the least of your problems that
Your
day.
relationship building.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And what was really cool is I had spent years building relationships in the general contracting world with other women who were also business development. And so these women, men and women, but it was largely women that I was networking with at the time, we had been kind of competitors.
Mm-hmm.
And how quickly, when I was like, hey, I'm doing this other thing, how many of them were like, come over here, get on our bid list, come do this, come do that.
Oh, that's awesome.
All of our success in those early days was built off of those relationships and those women that were willing to like bring me in and introduce me.
Admin job is what you do when you start a business. So you have to know, you got to do all the accounting, and you've got to do all the billing, and you've got to, so everything you learned basically set you up for success in your own business.
For sure. I mean, thank goodness, it wasn't on, a project of Archer's that I was learning for the first time the difference in a taxable and non-taxable job and new construction and remodel and all of that. Like, it would have been quite a big bite to swallow.
Oh yeah. And then have 2 kids and go through a divorce at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah. You could have done it. You're Superman.
I mean, could have, but
but it would have been a lot harder to do that.
For sure.
So what I love about it, she saw a niche that there wasn't something there, and she started a company to fill it.
That sounds like
anybody
you. It
can
sounds
do.
like your twin. Right?
I know, that's what I really liked about her. I was like, I know what that feels like. Yeah,
I love it.
So it was so neat to talk to her about it. Okay, so while all this is going on, and I think women need to hear this because I know so many women have a lot of things going on behind the scenes nobody knows about, and we put on this facade that everything is great. I do it every day. Like, there's different things that are going on in my life right now that I have to be a businesswoman, and then I have to go deal with everything else that's happening in my life. So, like you said, you were starting to you started to initiate a divorce basically at that point. So delve into that as much as you want to.
Well, what's interesting to me is like, it's never not chaotic.
Right.
As a mom and a business owner and all the things, like, who among us is like, no, I'm chilling.
I got it all.
Things are great.
Yeah.
So that's the idea of like, oh, I'm just going to wait until this passes and then I'll do it. Like, it'll get put off forever.
Yep. Something else will happen.
And on it, like, something that just occurred to me just now as you were saying that question was like, the initiation of the divorce was sort of the end of the process. Like, before I actually filed, things were terrible before too.
Right.
At least now I had a name to it and I could say,
right.
hey team, I'm really going through it today.
Right.
It wasn't just me trying to paddle furiously and keep my head above water.
Right.
And
because
like,
your office knew
a
lot of what was
and
happening.
I have joked a few times that like my business partner has seen me cry more times than my mother, because there were times where it was just every direction I looked was problems. Like I remember having a day where it was like, okay, work is super stressful. I gotta turn this off and like think about something else. I'm gonna have a stroke. And I would like think about something. It's like, oh right, going through a divorce. That sucks. Can't be thinking about that. Like, think about the kids. Oh no, the kids are like, it was just every direction I turned was just bad news. But it passed.
Right.
I remember having calling my mom that day and being like, has life always been this hard? Is it always gonna be this way? And she was like, no, it'll pass.
This too shall pass.
This too shall pass.
Yeah.
I know women going through this right now. Like, what is your best piece of advice for a working mom going through this? Like, in the hardest moments, like, what is your best?
Something I think about in terms of like business, well, I guess any of it, is like lace up the cleats. You just got to put your shoes on and start like, take whatever the next step is in front of you. Give yourself permission. Like, you don't have to do it all.
Right.
Just do the next right thing.
One step at a time.
One step at a time.
Yeah.
And going through this personally gave me a lot of really good perspective in terms of business, because, you'd be going through something tough with the business, but realize like, this isn't hard.
Right.
Losing a parent is hard.
A divorce is hard.
A divorce is hard.
Yes.
A cancer diagnosis is hard. You know, some superintendent yelling at me just because he probably needs therapy. That's just Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yes. Yeah.
that's not even, you're not even the meanest guy I've talked to today, you know?
Right.
It'll pass. And like
Yes.
every one of our problem projects where it's just like, oh, we can't get through this. The hits keep coming. They end,
Yeah.
you know, and
That's
the
just
best thing
Tuesday.
you can do. It's just Tuesday.
Yeah. I love that.
No,
That's-
it's so.
I think sometimes we get stuck in everything that we have to do that we can't even take the first step to just try to do anything, you
Right.
know, and just saying, okay, what do I have to do right now? And that's all I'm going to focus on and get that part done. It's really hard when you're emotionally torn in 5 different directions.
Right.
And, you know, I know people whose mothers diagnosed with cancer and could go any moment, you know, and they're on the pins and needles of dealing with those kind of things and just other stuff, you know, people's with kids issues. And it's really, really hard to figure out, how did you manage to keep the two balanced though, and check out of one with your family that was going on there and go to work? Because I think that's like, I can't even get to work today.
Also, and how old were your kids when all of this was going on?
They're 9 and 11 now. So it was probably 2 years ago that it like really officially started. So they're old enough to, you know, ask some questions,
Right.
you know, but still very much like need mama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
Because you said you kind of sometimes brought it into work. You know, we had talked about
and
it.
I tried really hard, you know, I try hard not to.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are days where it's just, and that's the kind of environment I'm trying to foster at work too. Like I care about this team.
Right.
You know, that's one thing I love about my team is I don't have to ask them to care.
Mm-hmm.
They're always fighting, you know, we're all rowing in the same direction.
Right.
And I think it's important that they know, like I understand you're going to be going through stuff. Like, let's all ebb and flow together.
Right.
If you need a little more understanding, a little more leeway today, of course.
Right.
I'm here to pick up
Been
the
there.
slack, but
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
it's going to go both ways.
Right. Right.
And I lost track of the question.
Oh, we can do that. We do that
All the time. We'll go down a rabbit hole and then forget what we were talking
And
about.
then
to
8
begin
more
with.
squirrels come around the corner, and you
I
know,
will chase a squirrel.
we're talking about your weekend.
What I mean is, okay, so how did you learn to separate the divorce from your job so that you could go to your job?
You know, there was a lot of days where the job was the reprieve.
Mhm.
I was so glad to not be at home stressing about, you know,
What it was going to be like when you got back there.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, and I think maybe like, you know, women with young children can feel this, like raising kids and being full-time with your kids is so hard. Sometimes going to work and eating lunch at your desk by yourself is
Right.
like
Actually eating lunch.
eating lunch, right? Going to the bathroom on your own timeline.
Right.
you know?
And there isn't a kid knocking on the door.
It is the reprieve.
Yes.
And so there were certainly days where, like, you know, to answer your question on like, how did I deal with it? It's disassociation, you know,
Right.
which therapists don't advise.
Right. But sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
But
I'm
yeah, I would just
incredibly
kind of
good at
like
that.
set that aside in my mind, and this is what I'm doing for
Right.
right now. And
Right.
then work ends. Put that over there.
And boom, I had to go
Pick it
home
back
and be
up.
mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, something you had brought up about, you know, like committing to, like, okay, doing this business, I'm committing to this now. It really helped kind of let some of the extraneous stuff fall away.
Okay.
And I make an effort to do that with my kids as well. So like, I've kind of committed to, this is the kind of mom I'm going to be and how I'm going to show up for you. And like, what that doesn't look like is individualized Valentine grab bags. Like, I'm going to put my money, my effort, my heart in the things that like really matter to my kids, showing up to their games or
Right.
that kind of thing.
Right.
But like giving yourself permission to like not have to be everything to everyone
Yep, that's right.
has been really helpful to me.
I love that.
Yeah, that's huge.
Because I think sometimes as moms, everybody else is doing everything and all the kids got all this other stuff from
Right.
everybody else. And
Yeah, you
you're
go
just like,
go to Target and the dollar spot, and it's like, it's all so cute. And I want to do that. But like, you know,
at the end of the day, they ain't going to remember what you got them for Valentine's Day last
Exactly.
year.
Yeah.
they don't actually care.
Nope, they
No,
don't. They
they
just want the
don't.
candy.
Exactly.
So true.
That's all they want. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
How did consistency
you.
help create momentum when motivation was low?
The consistency was really key. And like, I hate to say that as a person who will chase squirrels all day long. Like, it's something I had a hard time with. We run off of, there's a book called Traction. And I think a lot of construction companies, subcontractors and others use it. And it's just like kind of a framework of like, here's how to run the business in terms of like, you know, regular staff meetings, regular check-ins, level 10s. I was against it in the beginning, but I saw how well it worked at the GC in just like creating very regular checkpoints. And like, you just watch the business grow consistently.
Right. And so how did you play that into your personal life? Were you able to move it over to your personal life as well?
I wouldn't say that like in terms of the business ideas, but I will, you know, getting a divorce helped me be a better mother.
Right.
In terms of I wasn't trying to control a lot of things out of my control. You know, control what you can control and
Right.
let go of the rest.
Right.
It made me a lot more present for my kids and calming for them.
Right. And do they spend some time with their dad as well?
They do. Yeah.
So that break probably gives you some,
Oh my gosh.
right? And you never had one before.
Never had a break before.
I know.
And like getting a few days off to reset and do the grocery shop and do the laundry, you know, do all these things has been really nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did committing to your path attract the right people or opportunities?
It did. It did. Like, you know, like we were saying, it just kind of lets everything else fall away.
Yeah.
You start to, it's as if the things that come across your field of vision are clearer in like, that's for me and that's not for me.
Right.
So tell us what Archer Specialties is, just for anybody out there who's
so
never heard of it.
we're a Division 10 subcontractor. So general contractors hire us to take on the scope of work on a commercial build out that is the commercial accessories. So usually that's going to be restroom partitions and all the ADA grab bars, soap dispensers, paper towel dispensers, all of the accessories on a building at the end of a project. It tends to be a catch-all. So we tend to also be picking up things like fire extinguishers and wall protection, sometimes signage and bike racks. And we get a lot of calls from people that are like, hey,
Can you
there's
do
this
this?
weird thing. You know,
Yeah.
we installed a boot scraper the other day, which is fun.
Oh,
You know?
wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was just, I saw a need for somebody to answer the phone and be like, yeah, we can figure that out. Because I mean, the general contractors were there like, someone take my money.
Right.
That's so
Somebody,
crazy.
we got to hire somebody to do this.
Right.
We don't have a install crew.
And so who installed it at the very beginning?
That was me.
Oh,
That was me.
I love that. I love that.
So you did everything, you installed, you did all of it.
Yeah.
Like that was, wow.
Well, and I, you know, because I had access to this crew of guys that I had developed a relationship with and that were so friendly. I mean, Cesar can install anything and very patiently taught me about, you know, the different types of screws and blocking and
right.
Yeah, all that stuff.
all of that stuff.
So you learned to do it all on your own.
So how
That's
many on your
awesome.
team now coming from like just one?
Yeah, we're up to 6 employees
Wow.
and 3 install crews.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
This episode is sponsored by More Supply Duncanville, a trusted name in plumbing solutions across Texas. Whether you're managing a job site, running a business, or dealing with last-minute challenges, More Supply Duncanville is there for their contractors when it matters most, especially in those pinch point moments when time is tight and answers are needed fast. From pipes, valves, and fittings to essential products that keeps jobs moving, their locally stocked inventory and knowledgeable teams help you stay on schedule without missing a beat. Visit moresupply.duncanville.com to learn more. More Supply Duncanville, dependable service and built for the trades.
So what would you tell women who are kind of in the middle of chaos, but feel called to do something different, to kind of step out of their comfort zone of what they know? They know it, they have to, but they don't want to take that leap of faith.
I mean, I consider myself very lucky that I was forced to.
Okay.
Thank goodness things got so bad that I had to act, because I would have just plowed right along, being low level miserable for the rest of my life, because that was my job and that's what I was going to do. So thank goodness the situation became such that like it was untenable. I was forced to jump. But to other women who were considering it, I would say like, you know, you can't win a game you don't play.
Right.
You can't half commit and just hope that, you know, you're going to win the lottery or something's going to just come along and it's going
rescue you.
You have
to rescue yourself.
Totally.
Yeah,
And I think that's like one of the hardest things as women.
Yeah.
You know, we've grown up thinking that we're going to be rescued, right? All the
Right.
movies teach us we're going to be rescued. I had a girlfriend who got married, and she got married a little bit after me, and I got married at 22. And I remember her like at 6 months, she called me. She was so upset. She's like, I just don't understand why my life is not like a Meg Ryan movie. Because we grew up with all those movies saying as soon as you get married, it was all the epitome, right?
Right,
You grow up
right.
to get married, and then life is perfect.
Right. You've checked that final box.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is left for you to do?
Right. Exactly.
Well, it's like
and that's
that-
when it starts.
Mhm.
That's when the chaos starts.
Exactly. Well, that sign that like happily ever after, like I want to take that sign and be like, that's not life.
It's not.
Right? Like
No.
that's not.
It's never happily ever after.
No,
You're happily ever after for a moment in time.
Yeah.
And then you got to work to the next moment in time, right? Like I agree with you too. Princess movies were
Really?
not my thing.
There really needs to be more of a prep work for like what you're
Yes.
getting yourself into.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I mean,
100%.
100%. Right?
I agree.
Like the
And that's
real
what
life
yes,
stuff.
Yes. Marriage counseling, I think beforehand should be like required.
Yeah.
Because they ask those questions.
But can I say something about that? Even with that, and I agree
did
with
it.
you.
I did it. I'm divorced. So there you
Okay, I didn't do it.
go. She's still married. Well, maybe that was our problem.
No. But my thing is first of all, you grow, you change.
Yes.
When you have kids change you. You say, well, I'm going to discipline like this. I'm going to parent like this. When that child comes and you're not prepared for this type of child,
Right.
you parent on instinct. There's no book.
Nope.
And everything goes out the window, right? The wheels are falling off the bus. I mean, I'm just saying there is no manual and it's hard.
Yes.
It's really hard.
Yes. Especially if you have that first one always seems to be the easiest one, and we have the most time to spend with them. You're developing that little stinker, you know, and then number 2 comes along and you're like, I never would have had number 1 if I would have known number
That's-
2 existed. What, you know, the heck is
Swinging
going
from
on
the
here?
rafters.
Oh, mine was on the roof.
Yes.
I'd come home and I'd be like, my neighbor's like, your kid is on your roof. And, you know, it's those real high pitched roofs. And I'm like climbing up the pipes to jump out. Hey, Mom. I'm like, oh my, you know, that was my life too at that moment too. Like I was navigating divorce, trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I had this wild child all over the place. And it was just, I'd look back and I'm like, I don't even know how I made it some days. Literally.
Truly.
Like, I don't know how I made it through that. Like you said, it was just one day
And
at a time.
you know, well-meaning people, you know, they'll say stuff, you know, how are you navigating this? Like you make it look so easy. I, you know, can't believe you're doing that. And it's like, what's the alternative? Like lay down and die?
Yeah.
If I thought that would work, I might have tried it.
Right. I would have been there already.
But that would have just wasted more time. Like, I don't have time to lay down and wait for death. So like,
I can't even lay down and take an extra 10 minutes. Like I know I have to get up right now and get going or this day isn't going to move.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you take time for yourself now?
no, we still don't do that. No.
Are you
Yeah, I
learning
don't
to
have a good
navigate
answer for
that?
Did you have key support systems and like?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. You know, my family, even though they're 6 hours away, you know, I call my mom 17 times a day.
Oh,
sometimes,
that's
you know.
awesome.
Really close with my sister. Got a great group of friends.
That's everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, my old rugby college teammates.
Oh, let's talk about
Is-
this.
I know. I
Can
want
we
to talk
talk
about
about
that too.
this?
Because she's like maybe a buck,
Oh,
maybe a $110.
No,
Like,
maybe.
Girl, be so for real.
Yeah.
Thank
She's
you,
a little teeny tiny thing. So like, yeah, we got to talk about rugby.
How'd you get into rugby? Like, how
I
cool is that?
fell into it. I took it as a kinesiology class in college, and the men's coach was the coach of the touch rugby class. And he
What's
was like,
that?
It's like, it was a rugby class but like instead of tackle, it was co-ed. And so you just like learn the rules of rugby and you play.
It was like touch football.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like flag football, but rugby.
Football.
Okay, yeah.
But he was like, oh, you should consider trying out for the women's team. So I went and I tried out and it was awful. I got hit so hard.
Oh no.
And I hated it, but I was too proud to let them think they'd scared me away.
Ooh.
So I was like, I'm just gonna come back for like a month and then I'm gonna quit. But like,
then it was like, well,
I'm gonna give it one more month.
Right.
And like, I started really enjoying it. And like, I still think to this day, like there are days where I'm like, I really need to just hit somebody.
Oh yeah. Rage room.
Yeah. Like if I could tackle or even be tackled, like it would solve so many of my problems. Yep. I can see why like guys talk the way they do about their old football days.
Yes.
Because that is like the physical release.
Yes.
I've said this about business too. Like what we're missing as adults is you never get that feeling of just all out. I have run myself to the point where I cannot take another step. I've hit something. I've given it all.
Right.
Like there's never any.
Yeah, kickboxing did that for me when I could punch a bag.
Maybe I need to sign up for kickboxing or Krav Maga or something.
Right.
Well, I want to go to Rage Room where you can take a bat and just beat stuff in there.
I feel like that's what would do it. I mean, because what you're explaining.
Yes.
Yeah.
To the point where you're so, we've talked about this, where you get so angry you cry. You're not crying because you're like sad.
Right.
You're crying because you're so mad.
Yeah.
That kind of crying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Angry crying, ugly, angry crying, you're breathing and snotting. And like, that's what I want to do. Take a bat and just beat a car up or, just something where you just get it all out. That's why they create those.
Maybe I should check it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go to one. I'll invite you.
Okay, thanks. So how long did you play?
So my sophomore through senior year of college.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So you played on their rugby team, and you never played it through high school?
No, but that's like the great thing about rugby, and I'll sell it to anybody, is there's a spot on the team for everybody.
Really?
Like there's a position for, big, strong people. There's a position for, quick, the wings and the fullbacks like have to be really fast. There's a position for the bossy ones who just, yell about where everybody else should be and who's getting the ball.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I miss it every day. And I made a great group of friends that like all of us are so different, but it's a very understanding sort of friendship of like, yeah, you do you.
Right.
I support you in no matter what you do. And it's been really cool to have a group of friends like that.
And you're still friends with everybody?
Yeah, we still get together several times a year. There's like 100 kids. I have no idea. Just like between the five of us, that a lot of 5 or 6 of us that get together a lot. Several of them had twins. There's so many children.
Oh, wow.
So,
oh, wow. So it's just pure chaos when you all get together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
But that's fun that you guys can get together.
Yeah, and that you've been friends for that long outside of college.
100 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It feels like 100 years, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. That's awesome. I would never have rugby for women. I didn't even know they had rugby for women.
Oh, I
thought it was
didn't know
always
that
a men
either.
thing.
Oh yeah. And like the U.S. team is really good. They were in the Olympics. A couple of women that I played with are still currently playing overseas. I've got a old broken rib that always kind of hurts me when the weather fires up due to one of the women that's Nick James that's playing over in Wales right now.
I don't think I've ever seen women play rugby.
No, I did.
Oh, you got to look up Ilona Maher. She is awesome.
Alone. Oh yeah,
She,
I know
like
who
Dancing
she
with the
is.
Stars.
Yes, yeah, I know
she's
that's
American
rugby.
women. Yeah.
Okay. I know that it's like tackle ball, like
You were
right.
so funny.
I know who she is. I love her. Her body image and how she perpetuates how girls should feel about their body. I follow her. I absolutely love her.
Nice.
But I guess I never clicked rugby for some reason.
We
I thought
would get a lot of people
lacrosse
being
is what I
like,
would
is that
think I
the one
was-
with the sticks? I'm like,
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It was lacrosse,
Yeah.
not rugby.
no, I don't have
Okay.
near the hand-eye coordination for something like lacrosse. That's the beauty of rugby for me. Like the lessons I learned, because it's a continuous play sport like soccer. So like you can be running with the ball and fall down and you just get up and keep running.
Right.
You drop the ball. Like it's just, you're
Okay.
just battling for it the entire
Right.
time.
Those women are beasts, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh my word.
So what are your kids? Do your kids play sports?
They do. They both play a lot of sports.
Okay.
And every weekend, I'm like, who did this to us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they in select? Or are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Bless your heart.
which like
We're going to make a lot of money, Mom.
Youth sports is something I could rant on for a
Yes.
while.
Oh, me
because
too.
The fact that kids can't just like play sports to play sports,
Yep.
and like they have to start specializing so early.
Yep.
I hate it.
Yep.
But I think it's well worth the lessons they learn
Yes.
playing sports. You
I
know,
agree.
like they learn what hard work looks like and how commitment, how to have a disagreement with somebody and still be friends.
Conflict resolution, all of that. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But it's their life then.
Yeah.
And they
It is.
eventually can only choose one because you can't do all of them, you know?
Well, why not?
Sure, Mom. You know, because I mean, my girlfriend, she plays softball her daughter plays softball during the year for the school. So the spring semester. So she practices every day after school, Saturdays for the school, and then all day Sunday for select.
Mhm.
And then she's in select ball whenever there's no school ball.
Yeah.
Like
And
there's no
it's-
time
and
for
it's
a
like
job.
Very normal. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is her job. Like, and we went off on this before too. That's like
Yeah.
a Texas thing. Texas is really big on their sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I lament the fact that my kids basically won't have a chance to have a job. Like the second the city would hire me, I was, went
yeah.
to
That
work at
was
the
that.
pool at
Yeah,
15 and then
Yep.
16 and 7. Like I always had a job.
Yeah.
Yep.
And learned lots of painful lessons. like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Right.
Well, they need to learn how to make money. And then I remember my son, his first paycheck he got, he's like, where did my money go?
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you have to
Who
pay
is
taxes.
FICA?
Yeah, exactly. I was just
Like he was
say that. I love
so mad.
Mhm.
I mean, angry
Yeah.
over his first paycheck. Like this is
That's a rite of
ridiculous.
passage, you know.
I'm working for $8 an hour. I'm like, they said it was 13. I'm like, well, half of it's out the door,
yeah.
you know? Like,
right. And I feel like with youth sports, they're learning the opposite lesson of like, oh, it's like $500 tournament fee, whatever. That's
Yeah,
like
mom's paying for
that's-
it.
Yeah,
Yep.
way better than the last winner.
Yep.
Like they're learning the opposite of like
Yes.
the value of a dollar.
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
And then taxes, when he had to file taxes every year, he thought that was ridiculous. What do you mean I have to file every year? I filed last year. This is my 21-year-old. When he was 21, he
Oh,
was,
he thought it was
so
like one time.
angry
Like
over it.
one
Yes.
time and that's
Yes.
it? Oh,
what do you mean
Taxes paid. Yep.
what do you mean you have to pay the accountant? Like, well, he's doing your taxes. Well, I'm doing it next year by myself. And then he had to pay for that too.
Yeah.
Like all those lessons. And he didn't learn that until he was out of college. Like, you know, he had a job, but oh my word. Yeah. It's so funny listening to them. Like they're just so outraged by all these things that they have to do.
Yeah.
Adulting sucks.
yeah. Have fun.
Who
Be a
told me
kid.
I had to do this? Like, trust me, buddy, we want to stay in bed too some days. So how are your kids navigating everything? Are they getting used to it? Are
Yeah,
they?
they're doing great. You know, a lot of it was just kind of figuring out our new normal. And I
Right.
did, I gave myself a pass for a long time of like basically fed is best. I hate cooking. And so, we were doing a lot of ramen and mac and cheese and
Right.
that kind of thing. But recently I've been like, okay,
Now
I've given myself enough of a break on this. I need to start cooking again.
Right. So normal food. Have you heard of HelloFresh?
Yes. Oh, I love HelloFresh.
Okay. I
Still
use
cooking,
Green
though.
Chef.
It is.
So Green Chef is like naturally sourced everything. I love it. I'm doing that and I think it's great. You do have to cook it, but it's like 30 minutes and they have everything ready for you. So I can deal with that.
She wants it to like be delivered.
Yeah.
Like, what-
I've done quite a bit of Factor.
Yeah,
and, like,
Factor. I've done that too.
Snap Kitchen, but like,
Yeah.
gotta feed these kids.
Yeah,
too, so.
something healthy.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm trying to get my daughter to start eating a little bit healthier as well. She's, it's mac and cheese, chicken nuggets, because that's what you do just to get food down them when they're little.
Right. Well, and it's when you've got 15 minutes between picking them up at the bus and getting to this practice and going to that practice. I mean,
Chick-fil-A. Yep.
which like they're never mad at.
Uh-uh.
So
no, they're not.
No, they love their Chick-fil-A. She could eat it every day.
Mhm. This is going to be the year of the crock pot for me, I think.
Ooh,
Oh, I love the
yeah.
crock pot meals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or the Instapot.
Which,
too.
like I was thinking about that this morning. You were talking about like for women navigating work and kids and all that kind of stuff. Like, before I get out the door, I got to get my hair fixed. And in the crock pot and get that going. And, I guess I've finally at 40 hit the age where I'm thinking about dinner before we're hungry at dinner.
Yeah.
Today's day one of like, I thought about it before I left work, but
It takes a bit to
It does.
get there.
Yes, it does. Well, and you got to create your new normal too, right?
Mhm.
So everything that was already set before is completely different the way it looks,
Right.
and I think I love the fact that she said I had to give myself grace for that, because we think as women, we have to do everything and we can't possibly do it, or we will be pulling out our hair, especially when your bottom has dropped out.
Right.
Your security was gone. Because your marriage is your security. Your home life, that's your security. That's where you go home to breathe. And you couldn't do that. Like there was no breathing when you go home, right? Because it's up and down. So I think those are the hardest times. And I remember being there. I had the nicest divorce though. And I just remember the bottom dropping out
the
of
new
my
life,
life.
Yeah.
And people look at me like, well, what are you talking about? And I'm like, we've always co-parented. We always believed in the same things when it came to the kids. We just grew apart. Just naturally grew apart. If you don't grow together, you're going to grow apart. And that is, I think, one of the biggest things I can recommend to women is do age marriage counseling while you're married. Figure out where you're at in that marriage like that. Because if you don't, life will pull you apart. And if you're going different directions, eventually that's where it goes. And then you do develop resentments. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't always perfect. It was just, there was no lawyers involved. We did it ourselves. It was amicable in that way. There were hard feelings for a few years there. Don't get me wrong on that. It wasn't like, oh, hey, we're best friends. Now it's a little bit different, but we still have different styles of life and how we live. And I think we've learned to just be friends on that aspect. But it takes a long time to get down to that road too. But my world was dropping out because my marriage was my safe space. That was where I went home to breathe from work, and when that's gone, and then you're supposed to be a safe place for your mom or your kids.
Right.
You don't even have one. Like it's
that
awful.
and that was what helped me kind of keep going during the worst of it, because we did never have that. And so it was my opportunity to create a safe space, and it made it worth it.
Right.
I'm really happy for couples that can do it amicably.
We're like 1 in a million for it. Nobody else has ever said
I think I
this
spent
before.
$100,000 to get the custody of my kids that I have.
Right.
And even recently I sold my engagement ring to make rent. Right. But there's also, it's really freeing to kind of be at the bottom and just be like, what's the worst can happen?
Right.
I'm already here.
I've got nowhere to go but up.
Yeah. Nowhere to go but up. And
that's
so it really did feel like taking a deep breath and just realizing that it's really hard, but what have I got to lose?
Right.
Yeah.
Because you don't.
Because you don't.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So I heard kinesiology. So what is it? Was that your degree?
No, I was a communications major.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I really just bumped along and picked my head up. And
so what do you do? You have to do something, read, work out. There's something you do at some point that gives you something, like listen to music, pray.
Yeah, I mean, I do, I go to Orange Theory.
Okay.
Which it gives me that little bit of okay, you just try as hard as you can for 1 hour. You know?
Right.
And that helps that's my, I say I work out my crazy.
Yeah.
Now I do it more for my mental. I do it for my body, but I do it so much for my mental game.
For sure. Yeah. There's days I'm on that treadmill and I'm just, how fast will this treadmill go?
Yeah.
I'm going
for 30 seconds,
Right. Yeah. Helps a lot.
I love to read, but I only read junk. So
yeah, me too.
That's okay.
When I read some good stuff too, but I love junk. Yeah. But I only let myself do it on vacation. Right? Because I can't, otherwise I'm sucked into it and then I don't do the things I need to do.
It's true. If I get into a book, I kind of abscond all my other responsibilities.
Yep.
So
I only let
read as
myself
much as
do it
I'd
on a
like to.
vacation. My junk books. my read a chapter a night because that's as far as I can get books. I'll do that. But those are my self-help. Well, and just books that I want to read to grow personally, I read a chapter a night of those, but my junk books I can read. Woo! I love my junk books.
It's awesome.
Anyway. All right. Next question, Zan.
If someone calls your success luck today, what do you want them to understand about the road it took to get there?
That what looks lucky is kind of only what they see.
They only see your success. They didn't see the road to get there.
Right. You know, and like there's that joke about like when you're a business owner, you're doing all the things. And I remember when we moved into our new office and it was like, oh, we got to spray for bugs. And so like I went to Home Depot and I bought, you know, pesticides and I'm like spraying the building for roaches, which like I hate roaches.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember thinking like, now this is one thing I did not anticipate when I decided to be a business owner is that I would like literally be the bug man too.
Right.
Yes. You're everything.
Everything.
Yep. You're the mechanic.
Most of the time it's fine.
Right.
You know, I can do it, but yeah, I would prefer.
It does look very glamorous to people who don't own a business. Like, oh, I just like all this free time. Like, I'll just go.
Well, that's
I'll be golfing and I'll be traveling.
I say that all the time. That like I'm not an entrepreneur at heart. I have friends who own businesses, and I saw how hard they worked, and I did not want any part of that.
It takes a lot to get there.
Yeah.
A lot to get there.
Yeah.
I've only just gotten to that point because I do a lot of traveling. She's like, where are you going? Mexico? Bahamas?
Oh, I love your vacation.
But I think that's also part of like, you have to define what success looks like for you.
That's
for sure.
And for me, it's freedom.
Yeah.
Yep.
After being in a situation where I didn't have any freedom.
Yes.
And I didn't have any control over what my future was going to look like. That's really what I was after. And like, I think defining what is it that success looks like for you? What is it that, you know, being a good mother looks like to you?
Because it's different for everyone.
Like there are people that adore doing the Valentine things. And,
right.
You know, that's not what they got. And so they want to do better.
Right.
Yes.
You know, for me, freedom means, success means freedom.
Right.
And yeah, if my kids have something on Thursday at 9:00 at the school, I can go. Nobody can tell me I can't.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, that's
'cause
the
you're
best.
Yeah.
I might not be getting a paycheck,
Right.
but like,
Right.
you know?
But you can go do it. Yep.
But yeah, to someone else, success looks like having the biggest house on the block or a golf cart they can go around the neighborhood in or whatever. And I was there, you know, kind of right towards the end of my marriage. I know that I got really caught up in the whole keeping up with the Joneses. And I was just like this house and, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And now I'm just so happy with my soft couch.
Yep.
I'm so happy with this safe little house the kids and I have.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it's been really good for the kids too, to like kind of reframe
what safe place
what
is.
safe place feels like, looks like.
I love that. That's really beautiful.
Yeah. Success is freedom. And it is, I think, different for everybody.
It is different for everybody.
You know?
Absolutely.
I think mine is the security of having, like, success for me is being able to have security for me and my family. You know what I mean? Like, you get to a point where now you have that and you'll get to that point where like, okay, you'll start making your money, right? And you start putting it away and you start saving for that rainy day. And then you get more employees and now you're responsible for because it never goes away. Like, you're responsible for people's lives.
The mo money, mo problems part of
Yes.
entrepreneurship has not been my favorite.
Yeah.
Of like, you feel like, okay, we've solved this problem. Like, once we solve this problem, good to go. And it's like, no, they just get bigger.
Yep. And you're the one that doesn't get paid. You still have to pay your employees.
Right.
Oh, and I'm telling you, for a long time there, I wasn't making a paycheck. And if it was like $500 a month, you know, I mean, it was minimal just to kind of get by. So it takes a long time for you to build that up and get there. And then you do hit a sweet spot, you know, where you're like, okay, I can breathe. I can take my kids on vacation now. And it'll come quicker than you think it will.
Well, and I'm always like in this industry, I've come across other people who own subcontracting businesses, and like, I'm always got 20 questions for them, you know? And what has struck me about all of them is everybody who's quote unquote made it, like, they just seem to be better at letting things roll off their back. Because
we get better.
True. It's a muscle.
Oh, we get better at it. Yes. Because I still take a deep offense to like a bad review, or if somebody says something about, you know, any of that, I'm like offended deeply and trying to figure out how to, like, you know, navigate through those kind of things. But like, there's still, or says something bad about you or bad about, you know, we did something wrong. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You know, if we do something wrong, like it takes a while for you to build up that skin where you can get to that point for sure.
Yeah. And like, the feeling of like being at risk, taking risks in business, you just kind of get better at withstanding it.
Yes. I think I started where you were, was kind of at the bottom again. When it was like, what do I have to lose? I don't have any other job. I could go work for somebody.
You like personal guarantee something and you're like, come take it. Come and take it. Like,
Right. And so starting at that bottom and slowly building it back up. But when I was fully committed, I think that's what it was, is when I became fully committed, because it was just me then, right? Like it was, it changes how you think of everything too. And you're willing to take more risks.
For sure.
Because there isn't any other choice out there.
Right.
And the choices that you have are not what you want for you and your family. Let's put it that way.
You have choices, none of them good.
Yeah, none of them good. So you just don't, there is no room for failure at that point. You are just pushing forward, and it's one day at a time. I couldn't even see what the future would have been look like. Nobody could have said, you're going to be there in 10 years. Keep going. Everybody's is different.
Right.
I'm not going to be Elon Musk. I don't have a desire to be Elon Musk either. I don't have a desire to make millions of dollars. That wasn't my thing. Mine was just enough security for my kids and to have a little bit of extra to be able to go do things with them. That was my goal. And everybody looks different. I don't have the biggest house on the block, and I don't want it.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to me how my desires changed. Like
mine too.
Now, even if I won the lottery,
I would still live in the same house.
Still live in the same house. I think I would still do my job. I love my team. I love what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
and like,
because you did it. It's all yours. Nobody else.
I joke that I feel like that that scene in The Little Mermaid where Ursula is like controlling everything, and she's like, yeah, that's me.
Only you're the mermaid doing it, and not Ursula.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful mermaid. Awesome. No, I'm more sea witch these days, I'm pretty sure.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we're going to have to wrap today up. We're so grateful for you come on in, Alexandra McMyler, for sharing your story. A lot of honesty, courage, and grace in there. Your journey is so powerful, and it was a reminder that the journey, the end result often is labeled as luck, but nobody ever gets to see that journey of getting there, even when life feels overwhelming.
If this episode resonated with you, wherever you are in your journey, there is no timeline, no right way to get through it, just the next step in front of you.
Thank you for listening and supporting women in construction, and for being a part of the BuildHERS community. If this conversation spoke to you, consider sharing it with another woman who may need a little hope today. All right, Zanika, take us out with a quote of the day. You got like 5?
I always have so many, and I can never decide, and I want to say 10, and there's never time for 10.
And she's like, I have 3, but Teresa's only going to let me do 1.
Women don't last in construction by accident. We last because we adapt, lead, and keep going even when it's hard.
That's so very true.
Amen, sister.
Well, thank you again for coming. We appreciate you. We love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
BuildHERS Club is a production by Monarch Media Hub.
Recorded and edited by MZ Studios and executive produced by the amazing Abigail Thompson.
Hosted by me, Teresa Williams.
And me, Zanika Scusa. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, message us on Instagram at BuildHERS Club.
Or email us at hello@monarchmediahub.com. That's HELLO@monarchmediahub.com.
And as always, when commenting, please use grace. We're here to build each other up.